without further ado, let me introduce our speaker. So this is Kate Allegato. She's a marketing strategist and an Army Reserve Public Affairs officer, leveraging 10 years of proven experience delivering campaigns and communication plans influencing customer mindset and behavior. Kate is actually sitting where I used to sit during my active duty days with the 14030 SC. She is a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve working full-time, but she has done a lot of marketing and a lot of public affairs and public relations related activities in the corporate and education world as well. Also, Kate, I think, has something interesting to say about her that's not in the bio. So Kate, what do you want to say about you that's not in the bio?
Oh, not in the file. I know that there's some individuals, I think it was Joseph. I was like, that seems to be a very familiar face. So Joseph, thank you. And thank you for joining us again this morning. I use something very unique. I have attended 12 schools, all the way from kindergarten all the way to graduate level schools. And 1 year alone, I went through 3 different schools. You might be asking why. I grew up in a military family, so it required us to be resilient and flexible for all the constant moving that we had to go through in terms of we being my siblings and myself. So something unique. Traveled around the world, spent a good chunk of my life in Germany. If anyone lived there, Bavaria area, I went to high school in Ansbach. Beautiful city of Ansbach. So something unique.
Well, thank you, Kate. And if I accidentally say ma'am or captain, I apologize in advance. That's just the soldier in me trying to be polite. All right. Without further ado, Kate, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, John. So the format is exactly it, is that it is an open forum. It's just kind of a warm up for the day, especially it being the last day. And I'm simply here to assist John in getting the information that's needed to make sure that your schools and institutions or organizations, if we do have other organizations on board with us this morning, that we can help in any capacity. So the first question, I will put up the slide. And I ask that if you would like to speak, please feel free to, or just simply go ahead and go into the chat room. And just simply, it doesn't have to be a full sentence. Just what have you valued most from these past 2 days? And if you want to go ahead and speak, I know that there's an option up there where you can kind of like raise your hand and then we can call out on you, or you can just speak freely. So it's a great opportunity to just reflect on the past 2 days. And also, Joseph, thank you so much for the prayer, and happy National Day of Prayer. It is today. So I'm not sure, I haven't checked on anyone's social media. So if you have something out there that I would love to share, that would be amazing. So it is National Day of Prayer for the US. New and creative ways to promote our school. David, can I ask in what manner? Or you don't have to do a whole list, but maybe like the biggest thing. What would be new? That comment was from David Nelson.
Yes, ma'am. I was just making sure I was off mute. I think the biggest thing for me was the different ways to be able to promote our school through social media. You know, whether it's, what type of posts or the high quality photos or just the testimonials, whatever it might be, just different ways, different aspects, what different age groups value, what platform they value, just learning different ways to be able to promote our school to different groups.
Awesome. Which is really great to know, just because there's so many tools out there. There might be outdated platforms or even Facebook alone. Facebook has a whole new face to it. So it's really great to know that you guys are getting up to date on the new initiatives and also new tools that are out there. Thank you so much, David, for sharing. We'll just do one more. Let's see here. Oh, Canva. I love Canva. So I believe, Diana, you said that you're excited with Canva information. You can't wait to see more. What did you enjoy the most about Canva? It's one of the tools that my own team uses quite often in getting content out.
Last year, I had gone on Canva. Someone had introduced it to me, and I had played around with it through the year, but it was nice to see how she used it. And to see that there were so many different things that you could do with it. I'm excited to see how we could probably use it for, for marketing and maybe getting things ready to go on the website, or I just think it'll be a valuable tool for the school.
No, it genuinely is. The great thing about Canva, it's such an easy way of user experience. So in terms of, you don't have to be so technologically savvy to utilize it. So I encourage, if for maybe a separate project or into the school year, if you have your students, and I guarantee, I told John this yesterday, that there's going to be students that have already used it, and they're probably incredibly great at it. So I hope that you guys can all leverage off of those students who already have the talent outside of just subject matter experts, to include myself. So thank you so much for sharing that.
And just something I want to add, Kate referenced Canva. I'm speaking with Jennifer, and I have had a few conversations regarding the feedback from that Canva meeting, and we do plan to put together a in-depth Canva workshop series. As for when, we're not sure yet, but we're going to get into the details about how to create certain things in Canva and understand its tools and its versatility.
That's great. Awesome. Canva is a great one. Adobe Sparks is also a really great platform as well. So there are many other tools that are almost very similar. So I would definitely say, once you get becoming some sort of an expert in Canva, please dive into the other platforms. That could be similar, and that might be actually a little bit easier as well. All right, so the ION in communication. I love this pun, because the ION is very much dependent on who and what you're focusing on. Maybe yourself, your staff, or maybe your school or your partner's school, which we'll go into dialogue a little bit later. So I just want to say, thank you so much for just being the element on ensuring that communication between your school and your stakeholders, external and internal, especially the diocese, that this communication sustains. I don't know how often you all get to come together and converse, and I'm hoping to stop talking so we can actually go into dialogue. But as individuals, it is so important to know that you are a critical element to the outreach. Okay, in one sentence, and this is really important, especially on the marketing side. So I'm just going to dabble into my marketing strategy mind. Is that in one sentence, how would you describe your school or organization? As I know that some organization popped in the first session that I was in. This one sentence doesn't have to be very long, but I would just like to know your personal perception, because we'll stem off of that perception on how parents or your community, or even what the diocese, what they think of what sentence they would use to describe your school.
We're going to pick on someone.
Feel free to type it in. The great thing about this is that we get to archive, and it's gonna, hopefully what John will do is kind of list everything out and bring it back to the diocese and say, hey, so this is what this school thinks of themselves. Let's help them make sure that if they think that they are wanting to be the excellent school, that we're going to start using those terms for them.
All right, I want to pick Tracy. Tracy, in one sentence, how would you describe your school organization? Tracy Farley. Is she there? Anyone else? All right, Lorena? Rebecca Reynolds, somebody?
I see them rolling in.
There they are. Okay, now they're saying, okay, all right. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, my fault.
No, absolutely. I love it. I saw thus far the two have said family. I know family is so critical. SMSD is a strong school, can always continue to grow and improve. I'm actually really interested in that one. I hope that I don't mispronounce your name. Shoban Young?
Yes.
Can you, I'm really interested. So when you say grow and improve, are there any specific or factors or variables?
I don't think there's anything specific. I mean, I think every school probably is in that boat where we can always continue to improve as education changes and, the paradigm shifts. We're always looking for ways to stay current, and really be at the forefront of cutting edge education.
No, absolutely. That That makes sense. It's a very general, it's broad, which is really nice. I just was trying to see if there's any way that you can like think and grow in terms of like enrollment, if that's like your priority or your focus. So that's really great to hear. Faith-centered, St. Mark's School is a tight community, value-centered.
Oops, it got away from me.
Oh, I think you have a hot mic. Was that just an accident?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Deborah from St. Joseph's, and I was just going to say for us that family spirit is important, but we also have a very international community. So in many ways, we see ourselves as a microcosm of the international or the universality of our church. So that's something that our parents really value, their Catholic faith, and they want that strong academic background for their children, but they also see the support of the church for them, as many of my parents are new to this country, or they've only been in the country a short time.
That's extremely valuable, especially I'm coming from a third world country. Hopefully, I think we're now a second world country coming from the Philippines. So to know that the international is actually within your perception or that your messaging is so important. I also went to St. Martin's University in Tacoma, Washington. It's a private Catholic school, and I love it when universities are very focused on international or some sort of international emphasis. So thank you so much, Deborah, for sharing that and the importance that it's just not your school or the community around you, but it's that broader scale, that worldly, global outreach, especially being a Catholic institution and part of the diocese. That's so integral to know that we do reach out and emphasize on the international outreach. So like applaud to that. That was absolutely amazing, especially just being, not just, but being a small entity of such a larger global effort. So thank you for that. John, I was going to move to the next question if you needed any other.
I have a general question. This is pretty much for anyone out there. I know it's not true at all occasions, but every once in a while when I speak to just friends and relatives and acquaintances that are not Catholic or even just not part of this diocese, when I say that I work for the Catholic schools, that they'll say, well, so how do you market to our community? And I ask you, what do you mean? He says, well, I mean, isn't Catholic schools really just for the wealthy and well-to-do? And I mean, isn't it like, isn't it not really diverse from a race standpoint? And I said, that's totally not true. So, but my question is this: do you still ever get that stigma? Is it when you do your marketing and your PR and your promotion? Is that a challenge that you come across, or is that just so few and far between that it really has no effect when it comes to speaking with broader audiences?
I think speaking with broader audiences, the unexpected is what we want to actually leverage off of. As much as we can make these strategies and initiatives on mapping it out, I love mapping, and I love whiteboarding and knowing who we're targeting in the different categories of we usually do 3 to 5 tiers of who our primary target is, and hopefully we can leverage off of the 3 to 4. But that 5, that last level, is going to be so critical. The great thing about, at least for the public relations side, is that good or bad, as long as someone is speaking on your institution, you can always, like John, you're an expert at this, you can always change the narrative. And the great thing is that as, I'm not sure what capacity everyone is in here, in terms of like being a principal or a director of marketing or anything, is that we own the narrative. So we might push out an initiative and we might get feedback on saying, oh, like, it seems to be you're kind of teetering when it comes to saying specific terms or using specific photos. But it's great, that's dialogue, we want that. That means that we can alter and change and say we might need to use this photo differently, or we might need to use these keywords a lot more. So I wouldn't say that it's not difficult. It's not. I think it's more so of what you're willing to take or criticism and comments. So the person behind the screen or the person that will hear these comments and is what you're going to want to leverage off of. It's a thick-skinned industry, but at the end of the day is that we own the narrative, and we want to make the perception the way that we need our institutions and organizations to be known. Did I answer your question, John? At least from my perspective.
Yeah. Yes, you did. Gina just put in a sentence here. I'll just read it. The challenge seems to be reaching middle-class families who are not qualify for large amounts of assistance, so deem it unaffordable. It is easier to appeal to lower income and higher income families. Yeah, do other people in the room, do you face similar challenges? Is it difficult to try and attract this middle class group?
We face similar challenges at St. Joe's. What we've been able to do, we have our Guardian Angel Fund, which is supported by parishioners and donors and other groups. And so we really try to look at that Guardian Angel Fund to help support and assist those that don't qualify for Step Up. They are definitely, their income is higher than that, but they certainly still need financial assistance according to their FACTS applications. And so that's our targeted group for Guardian Angel.
Thank you, Deb. Looks like Joseph, you raised your hand.
Yes, I was going to add, if you can hear me, I think I am muted.
No, you're good. We hear you.
Excellent. The challenge, and I agree with what Gina and everybody else has said. I think the challenge is just breaking through the overall stigma that Catholic education is inaccessible. Mm-hmm. And then if we can break through that barrier, then we can find out, hey, we're accessible just as any other charter school, any other school. And now let's find out how we can help you. But the first part is actually getting even that fast conversation for people to go, okay, so it is accessible. Now, how can you help me, or where do I fall? What options are there for me? But it's getting through that very fast barrier. Is to even get to the conversation, I think is what, is a challenge.
And as a follow-up, who here has any suggestions or what tactics or strategy do you use to meet that, to overcome that first barrier? I know a lot of people are just saying it's just difficult just to get these people's attention. Do you have any specific ways on how you do that? Is it many touch points? Is it many phone calls, in person, multiple follow-ups, or is it additional third-party marketing? How do you overcome this challenge?
I have an idea. This is Joseph again. I have ideas. I guess we've got to wait and see if it works. But I think a lot of that, John, is going to come from the diocese in a sense, and marketing as a group. One of the ideas that I can't remember who the speaker was from Atlanta said of presenting a common front that then speaks that message, I think is going to be a big first step.
Anyone else? Because I am aware of those challenges as well. So I'm always looking for ideas on how we can at least approach those people.
I think one of the challenges for us is that when they do reach out or they do, respond to whether it's Facebook or a website or something that we've sent out, their first question is always, what is your tuition? And I think trying to get them to see the value of the school before that's their first question, because we can work with them to make it affordable for them. But it's very hard when their first question is, what is your tuition? We try not, especially if it's a phone call, to just say our tuition is this, but to give them a little bit more explanation in that, and then explain to them tuition and how all of that works. Because that will be, it'll be the Facebook message that I'll get saying, what is your tuition? That's the only question. And so I don't want to turn them off with a number or that monetary figure that's in there first.
Okay. Do people have similar issues when it comes to just getting that direct question, like how much did it cost? They just want to get down to the bottom line and not even truly understand what your school is all about? Siobhan has, she says, we started offering a credit discount to our current families to get them to sell our school before people ask about tuition. I think Deb's points will figure out how to do it if they really see the value. So great idea. Has anyone else tried to do that, like offering a credit or discount to the current families to be like your ambassadors, so to speak? All right. Tanya says $250 off each child they bring in. Does anyone else offer something similar or have some other ideas on how to help that? Oh, Jim, making sure they're able to receive some financial help, even okay with accepting them. Good. Excellent. All right.
Hey, this is Lauren May from Step Up.
Oh, hello,
Can you hear
Lauren.
me? Hi.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, when I was a principal, my school was mainly, most of the kids were on the scholarship. So I found that giving them $100 or $200 off tuition didn't really mean much to them because they had the scholarship. So we started giving them gift cards, which were much more popular. And when I started, they got a $50 gift card for every person that they got to enroll in our school, and I wound up giving out $1,000 worth of gift cards because they got really excited about that money. So just an idea if you're working with poorer families. And then one other thing that I did that was really popular is I asked the families if I could come into their home or their apartment complex and share about our school. And so I would go and we would have like a little donut party or pizza party where they live, and that was pretty successful as well.
Good.
Yeah, actually, I'll use this analogy. Kate will probably appreciate this, is that I was speaking to a couple of people who are Army recruiters, and they would, I'm sorry, go ahead, Tanya.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Years ago, I spoke with a couple of Army recruiters, and at first what they would do was offer a little bonus to people they just recruited to get their friends to come to the recruiting office. And at first it was just straight out money that they would give, but that wasn't the incentive. What they found was a better incentive if they told new recruits, hey, you know, we'll give you 4 movie tickets. We'll give you a gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. Hey, you like going to Disney? Here's a ticket to Disney. That was actually more incentive for them to go out rather than just the cash value, even though the cash value was more than the movie tickets and the dinner and the trip to Disney combined. Kate, is there anything you want to add to that in reference to offering incentives, gift certificates versus cash versus other incentives?
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you on the recruiting side of the house. At least for our recruiters, they're getting into the relations of like what's current. So very unique ways. So may it be the Disney. For us, our recruiters are online. I don't know if you have seen them on Facebook. Some of them are gamers, so they'll broadcast live, and in a way that they'll actually communicate with potential recruits in that manner. And I'm not saying that this can be done on the elementary side when it comes to Catholic institutions, but really just trying to find a commonality with the family members and connecting them with something tangible outside of just monetary value. So John, you hit the nail on the head on that one.
Another idea, and this is something I want to toss around with the new superintendent when he comes in and chancellor, is has anyone been to Lakewood Ranch on a certain Friday? I think it's the first Friday of the month to Main Street. Who's out there? Yeah. There's one organization that's out there in force, and they have like a whole theme park. It's a church. It's a church. They come out there and they have rides, and they got the slip and slide stuff and all kinds of things going on. They pretty much take almost the entire parking lot of the mainstream marketplace. And an idea that I want to ask about chancellors, maybe we can do that as the schools, as you know, come out there and not even really promote. I mean, obviously promote the schools, but do it in a very soft way. Like, hey, just come in, have fun. You know, have a drink, have something to eat, go through the playground stuff. And then if you want, we got a table here, and that'll give you all information about our schools in our diocese, or at least in that area. Obviously, we'd probably have to do it in several locations. So
Our Parks District has several programs throughout the year that they do for the children, like around Halloween and Christmas, and then they'll do the big Marauders downtown that they do, and we always try to have a table for St. Joe's or an activity for the kids that they'll stop by the table and that at those events, just so we're kind of visible in the community, that they know we're here.
For the other schools, have you found success participating in events like that, setting up a table at certain community events or like 5K runs or just like holiday type events?
Esther actually submitted a comment. Collaborating with our partner schools to create a united front has been beneficial, encouraging and educating our very constituents that we're all to build and cultivate our faith-filled school community. Another person had commented, it's a hit or miss. Not really even did at a Catholic festival. That's quite disappointing to hear. Yes, we set up at a fair and we do receive inquiries. We have done LWR.
That's Lakewood Ranch. Yeah.
We sponsor the train ride for the Christmas parade annually. It really is a hit or miss.
Yeah, and I see that too. I mean, I'm not saying that these events are going to be a knockout of the park. I don't think any true, I don't think one tactic or one event is going to be knock it out of the park, unless you charter an airplane and dump gift certificates across across the neighborhood. Don't do that. All right. So Lauren says, let's see, I think it's more important to show that you're part of the community, which is important. So that actually is a good follow-up question. Going beyond just setting up a table in the event, how do you engage with the community? What else do you do to get your name out there, but at the same time show that you are involved in the community, you're active, you're engaged, you help them, you support them? Well, hey, Natalie's honest. Haven't had any successful registrations at community events. Natalie, why do you think that's the case? Is it just you're not getting enough people, or you just feel like you're in the wrong, not wrong, but you're just not reaching out to the people you need to reach out to?
I mean, at the community events, people are there, and I don't want to sound ungracious or anything. Just, what are you handing out? What do you have for me that I can pick up? What kind of swag are you giving out? Which is fine. I mean, you get your name out there, it puts your face to people, but we haven't had anybody successfully, even come and visit the school, much less register from that. I mean, we've done a few different things in the community, and I just haven't found it was worth it. As far as registration goes. I mean, as far as, still some recognition when we're out there, sure, but there hasn't been any turnover from those events.
All right. So Siobhan actually, she agrees with you, Natalie. We have never had anyone come in and tour because of seeing the booth. So I got a follow-up question, Kate, if you don't mind, if I ask. What drives people to call you and go on a tour? What do they say? How do they know about your school to entice them to go on a tour? So I got word of mouth. Yeah, absolutely. And then Tanya says we have a school Sunday mass where the school lectures every month. They know someone at the school. Okay. Parish bulletins. Excellent. All right,
Are there any high traffic months or seasons that these, I guess this is open to the group, I'm just really interested as well on how often these tours are actually occurring and the frequency. Sorry, John, I should have probably closed my door off. I'm sorry. I'm sounds good.
Kate, if it's the general,
when you have soldiers that swing by and they all have masks and they're wanting to take photos for something, so I do apologize for that disruption.
All right, February through May is the really high traffic months. Is that true for pretty much everyone else? Man, May are busy, which one?
Okay, yeah. That's far.
The fact that we can't give physical tours, has that proved a challenge? Or are you able to sell the school over the phone or through your virtual tours? Or are you trying to plan something out later in the summer when things start opening up, or if things start opening up? Have found that July is very busy and have done a virtual tour. Just who here among you has a virtual tour up and running? And what have you, how do you gauge its success or its effectiveness? Man, people are typing so fast. Huge challenge. We are working around it now. Many people have been interested now because they are not happy what their current school is offering. Siobhan, can you expand upon that? What are they not happy about that brings them to your school for a tour?
I know that, like, as of late, we've had a lot that are in the county schools, and they don't feel like their kids are getting as much instruction as they should be with the virtual learning, or they're not happy with the platforms that are being used, or the amount of time that the kids are, actually having live meetings with teachers. So that's been one, and then some of the parents that are at some of the pricier private schools in Sarasota and Manatee are disappointed with what's been offered, and so they're looking at, and I hate to say it, another, non-public option that's offering something different. We've found that with our virtual tour, we didn't put it up live on our site. We're asking people to inquire. And then what we've been doing is reaching out to them with Zoom calls with our admissions director and myself, where we're able to talk to them one-on-one and then walk them through the tour. So it really is like a virtual personal tour. And we found that to be really effective, because you can explain a lot of things as you pause through the tour and, talk about, the specific program that happens in that place or answer a question that they might have.
Thank you very much, Mom. Appreciate that. Looks like Tracy, her school did a 3D virtual tour. How did you do that? What software did you use, or who did you reach out to do that? And I'll just go ahead and if you don't mind, Tracy, if you can share your website just so we can kind of see what your 3D tour looks like.
If there's anyone else that actually has a tour that's on a digital platform, I would love to get all those links as well.
Yeah, if you want to type in the link, or you are able to share your screen, you can just share your screen and we can take a look at it.
Say broadband level, and then it will say your internet connection, like in and out the whole time. Of course, it won't have one view here, but fun, right? Lights off.
Okay. Joseph says, excellent. And that last answer with the real virtual tour, great suggestion. Tracy, is it okay if you pull up your school's website and share the screen just so we can see what your 3D tour looks like? I'm trying to do it on my end, but I have so many windows open.
I'm trying.
Okay, no problem.
What do I do?
Share desktop share.
All right. While we're waiting for that, is anyone currently working on trying to put together a virtual tour? It doesn't have to be 3D, but just like, are you doing videos, photos? Are you working with a third party to get it done? Oh, here we go.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Yeah, but what do I just play it then? Andrew, don't go anywhere.
Oh, there we go. Wow.
Oh, very nice.
This is yeah. Can it sound or no? For them?
We don't hear any sound, but we see the screen moving back and forth.
Yeah.
Trying.
Oh. It's okay without the sound because for Zoom, you actually have to connect it on the settings. So then it'll, yeah. If you just play the video, I think.
Yeah, Tracy, I think we'll be able to hear it if you, I don't know if you're wearing headphones, but if you unplug your headphones, we'll hear it through the speakers on your computer.
I'm just going to go ahead and actually go onto your site and provide you a little bit more traffic today then.
And I'll type it in saintanne.net if anyone else wants to take a look at it. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for sharing that. This is great. Tracy, who did you use to get that done? Did you use what program did you use to do that? Oh, wow. Well done. Okay. Whoa, you even got a cutout.
Yeah. This is well structured. Whoever did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Especially going and feeling as if I'm actually there versus just like showing photos. It's very moving. So great job to your team.
Yeah. Yeah, Tracy, you'll have to let us know. You can type it. Like if you give us if you used a third party, let us know what it is. If it's software or you hired somebody, because this is very professionally polished and well done. So.
John, is there any way that the diocese can help with this type of initiative for the schools?
I have a 3D camera. It's a GoPro Fusion, and I took just still photos, 360 photos at St. Catherine, and I'm trying to find software that will allow me to integrate these pictures into St. Catherine's website. But I'll admit it's not this polished. It's not where you can zoom out and see a 3D image of the entire classroom in the hallway and then zoom in back into it. So that's pretty impressive. I have a question. Actually, this is for Linda Caldwell. She's in part of the Diocese of Orlando. Linda, have any of your schools found success, or are they doing virtual tours similar to what St. Anne is doing?
Yes, hang on, let me close my door. My dog is barking.
Great.
And just so you know, Linda Caldwell, she is one of the 3 marketing coordinators that are part of the Diocese of Orlando.
We have been charged to make sure our schools, the ones who want to have a video, a virtual tour video, and each school is going about it different ways. In the area I cover, we have, as part of our marketing plan from last year, we did a commercial per se, if you want to call it that, of each school. And I'm kind of using those as to give a look at what the school is about. It's showing kids in the classroom and whatnot. And what my principals tend to be doing is they're taking their, just like their phone around with them, giving tours for people who want to see the campus, and just showing them highlights of the school. I love what St. Anne did, but I do want to put a little caution out that what our safety person told us is that you really don't want to give people on the computer a full layout of your campus, because you don't know who's looking at it. So kind of be wary of that. What we suggest is that, you take people in the classroom and then kind of just take them classroom to classroom, so that they don't see the full layout of your campus. As far as the other regions go, some schools are creating a virtual tour, such as the one St. Anne did, but keeping in mind not, to go in and out from the hallways. And it really depends on the schools, but all of them are being encouraged to do virtual tours. Some are choosing just to take people with their phone. Other people are doing like a full blown out tour. And we're actually, a lot of my schools are saying that people are coming in and they're practicing social distance, but they are coming in and going on tours that they want to come in and see the campus. So they're taking them one-on-one. It's also hard, it's hard to really give a vision of your school, with empty classrooms, but, I love what St. Anne did. That is really cool. So it's a hard time.
Yes, and the last thing I want to say for me about the virtual tours, I went on another virtual conference that was at the national level, and a school up in, I believe it was in Boston, they did something clever where it was a virtual tour, but in each hallway, in each classroom, there was a person, now a photo of a person, but when you clicked on the person, it would cut to a video of that same person talking about that particular class or about that particular program. And she said we did this. I mean, part of the video was shot before the quarantine lockdowns, but they still had to keep shooting. And what they had to do was like bring in one person to the school, just one, and shoot his or her video. But it was cleverly done because that way you're not looking at an empty classroom. You have a perspective, seeing a person there, and some interactivity by clicking on the person to let him or her talk about what you're looking at. So maybe an idea to do when things kind of loosen up from a quarantine standpoint.
Another thing my principals are doing is if someone's inquiring, say, about a first grade classroom, they'll take them on a little tour of the first grade classroom, again, show them highlights of the campus, and then they'll schedule a Zoom meeting with the first grade teacher and the prospective parents. That person can ask questions of the first grade teacher. A lot of the problems too my schools are facing is that they've already had their summer and they're starting to rip down classrooms and do the summer clean. So it's not always pretty. So to show them the classroom as it is now. So it was better, should have shot it before, but oh well.
I'm not worried about it.
Right, thank you, Lindsay.
Do that before.
All right. Anyone else have anything else to say about virtual tours before we go on to the next topic? I know we only got about 10 minutes left, so I want to give Kate a chance to hit anything else. Tanya says, I made my teachers keep up their bulletin boards. What do you mean by that, Tanya? Tanya?
I apologize. My internet's coming in and out today for some reason. No, so I made my our bulletin boards stay up, and we make sure they're really nice and neat in all my classrooms and in my hallways. This way, it looks like the kids are sort of there during the tour in the summer. I found it to be a little bit more welcoming, and actually, parents have commented on that too. So it's not so stark, and it seems to give it a little color, and they can see a little bit about what some of the children's work that they've done. So even in the summer, we have tours. We keep all that stuff up.
Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate it. Excellent. Also, speaking of signs, I think a couple of schools are doing this. If you have a sign in front of your school, even though school's closed, I know people are just changing up signs with inspirational messages, congratulatory messages now, especially it's graduation time for the seniors, messages of hope, maybe something funny. But yeah, if you have a sign that's pretty public and is seen along the road, I highly recommend just going out there just to remind people that, yes, maybe our doors are closed, but school is still in session. All right, Kate, what's next on the agenda here?
Actually, because I do want to make sure that we end promptly. The only item that I want to make sure that you get, John, is just the major concerns. So just from everyone that's on here, especially if John can have an influence in your institution, just knowing what the top 1 to 3 items are. And if you can just chat, put it in the chat, and then maybe, John, what you can do is address anything, just as we only have about 5 minutes left anyways.
And that's something, I mean, we can't address it all in 5 minutes, but if you do type in your challenges, or if you prefer to send me an email, or if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one call, I know I've done that with some of the schools, not all of them, just because of scheduling reasons. Let me know, because for the next academic year, I want to make sure that whatever the education department is doing, that it's positive, it's helpful, it's more than just busy work. That's the last thing I would do, and I definitely don't want to do something that is harming your marketing and enrollment managers as well. So, because hey, I admit sometimes the best laid plans are just horrible. So, how did Mike Tyson put it? Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. That's how it went. Yeah. So, and actually, he's right, especially with this coronavirus. It was definitely a big punch in the face for everybody.
So I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So maybe no one has any major
I can't be
top
doing
priorities.
everything perfectly.
I think you're doing a great job, John.
No, far from it. Please, I know we can do more. If there's any challenges or fill in the sentence, John, I wish you would, and fill in the blank. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. Trust me. I've had people say very mean things to me, and I didn't cry as much. Anyone? No one?
No. We're in
All
the
right, how about-
5-minute window, so.
I know. Well, how about Linda? Linda, I mean, I'll admit I'm new to this marketing thing. If you were in my shoes, or what do you plan to do for the 2021 academic year that I can steal and borrow from you?
Oh, John, I'm willing to share. Right now, we are promoting the fact that, because whoever just said that, you said, John, on the signs that we are still in class and we're still in session. With so many of our schools, like our public schools, not being able to, they're not doing what we're doing, at least in the Orlando area. We've heard, and our superintendent is friends with somebody at the Orange County Public Schools, that basically they're sending home packets. So we're promoting that there's education actually going on. Our teachers are meeting with students. We're having our schools send that out. And it's actually working, because we have parents. I was at a school yesterday and we had a parent who's part of the Orange County Public School District, and she was putting her daughter in one of our Catholic schools. So the fact that Catholic schools are educating, that we are still serving our students even one-on-one, is a big promotion that we're doing. As far as next year, I don't know how you guys feel, but it just feels like you make a decision and then the next second it's not even worth it. It's like it's totally changed. So we're just focusing on our service and how we promote and produce children who go out and are leaders in their communities. So our Catholic school message is basically just drilling it in more, and we're showing more examples, especially of kids in class and the different things they're doing. So showing that they're still getting an active education.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. And yeah, just to tag on what Siobhan said about doing one targeted campaign, and that is something that is going to be my primary goal and responsibility. I know we kind of had a soft start with that. Yes, we have the commercial. Yes, we are putting together an annual report, but we really do need to push a unified campaign to show that we are one diocese, and within those dioceses are 15 incredible schools. And I cannot speak enough about them. So I know I mentioned this in a previous meeting, and this will be the last thing I say. And after that, you guys are free to go or free to chat. But when I first started this position, I looked high and low for what I thought was the best marketing book out there. It was highly recommended by friends and coworkers alike. And I got the audio book because I'm too lazy to read it. And I got 2 paragraphs into it before I turned it off and almost threw out the whole book in disgust. Because the book opened basically by saying the most important aspect of any organization is marketing. And I believe that is 100% not true. Absolutely not. The most important thing in any organization is the product or service that you offer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you offer junk, then you market junk. And you can only do that for so long before the public realizes that you're marketing and promoting junk. And I'm very happy and relieved to know that that is not the case with our diocese. It's the opposite. I need to find out ways to promote how amazing you are. So I need to be more amazing. If you have any other suggestions on how to do that, please let me know. Oh, when someone says thank you. Well, you're welcome. All right, we got about a couple more minutes. Anyone else? This is your chance. Speak, yell, scream. Anyone? All right, well, unless someone wants to chime in, again, I'm gonna post the link one more time. This link is a Google Drive link that has all of our videos up until this point of every meeting. I highly recommend watching at least a couple that you were not able to participate, but you wanted to. There was some great information out there. A great one was Lauren May. She gave a great breakdown about Step Up for students. It was great. I know all of us know about Step Up, but having someone like Lauren who can really give you the details is very important, because, you know, it changes. Programs change, scholarships change, and you need to be up to date on that. Creating a parent ambassador program. Joseph, you were a part of that, and you said it was pretty timely, right?
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of what we talked about was discussed during Brian Dooling's parent ambassador program. All right. Natalie says, have a great day. I guess that's our cue to kind of close up. We got another meeting in 4 minutes. Does anyone else want to say anything before we close out?